All right, week 3 NFL coming up. We kick it off Thursday with another so-so divisional matchup. You got Tennessee at Jacksonville. Jaguars are a mess. You like Gardner Minshew's style, but very little else about this team. Jalen Ramsey might not even be on the team by the time we play this game. Titans looking to rebound after a tough home loss to Indianapolis. Titans have better players. I'm gonna take the Titans. Again, they gotta stop with the Thursday night games because they're just terrible. But let's go to Sunday. The early games, you get Cincinnati at Buffalo. Buffalo is 2-0 after picking up 2 wins in the Meadowlands. The Bengals 0-2, looking sloppy. Receivers have been nice for fantasy, but the Cincinnati's is not a good team. Buffalo might be onto something here. Maybe they grab a wild card. Who knows? I like them at home this week in their home opener. I like the young talent that they got there. They might be starting to something, or they might be starting nothing. But I'll take them against Cincinnati. Then you get Miami at Dallas. What can you say about Cowboys right now? Listen, it's the Giants and the Redskins. You don't want to get too excited, but they basically won those games the way good teams are supposed to win against bad teams. They handled their business. There was no sweating. They got down 7-0 in both of those games, and then just basically said, "All right, we're gonna turn the switch on." And listen, I'll tell you something right now. If Devin Smith is gonna be beating people downfield for touchdowns, y'all are in trouble in the NFC. Because he's like our 5th receiving option. I know Gallup's going to be out for a couple weeks, so he steps up on the depth chart. But going into Washington last week, I'll be honest, I didn't even know Devin Smith was on the team. I just saw Smith and I went bananas because I was like, all right, touchdown, great. I'm like, who is that? But listen, if this guy's going to be making plays with all the other weapons we already have, y'all are in trouble in the NFC. And you get in the Dolphins who, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a single minute of Dolphins football this year. I had New England in the New England defense in 3 of my 4 fantasy leagues last week, so scored a ton of points. Didn't watch one single second of the game, but apparently Miami is terrible. And between the Cowboys and the Patriots with the Jets, they're both 20-plus point favorites this week. You haven't had 2 20-point favorites in the same week in a non-strike year since 1977. It is bad in Miami, from what I understand. Because again, I have not watched a second of Dolphin football. This will probably be the only game I even look at Miami this year, and it's only because they're playing the Cowboys. But listen, Cowboys will win the game. It's going to be hard to get really jacked up because again. But hey, listen, you go 3-0 and you move on. Denver, Green Bay. Sticking with Sunday early games. Denver had a crazy ending in the Denver game with Chicago. They go down, they get the touchdown to get it to 1, then they go for 2, and they end up with a penalty, so that backs them up. So they end up trying to kick the 1, but then they missed the 1-pointer, but Chicago was on sides, and then they go back and try for 2, and then they get it. And then what do you know? The Bears come down and get a game-winning field goal. So a tough loss for Denver. Denver's 0-2. They desperately need a win. I don't know if they're getting it in Green Bay. Green Bay looks like they're going to be good this year. I know Aaron Rodgers is, maybe not a top fantasy quarterback now, but he's definitely managing the game. Not to take big hits. They've got a decent running game. Packers are going to be good this year. They'll beat Denver. this week, and they'll get to 3-0, right? Yeah, Green Bay will be 3-0. Atlanta and Indianapolis. Here's it's a couple of 1-1 teams. Should be an interesting game. I'm surprised that I'm glad Atlanta beat Philly last week, but I'm surprised they didn't blow that game, because that had every symptom of them blowing that game. Eagles again with a ton of injuries, but Atlanta being Atlanta kept them in the game. But they were able to lock it up late, because what's his face, the defensive coordinator for Philly decided to just do zero blitz on every play and eventually burn them. But Atlanta coming off a big win. The Colts, I'm telling you, the Colts are going to be feisty this year. They're 1-1. They lost in overtime at Chargers. They get the win last week in Tennessee. I'm gonna take Indy in this game. I like what they're doing, and I don't trust Atlanta. So what do you want from me? I'm gonna take the Colts. Baltimore, Kansas City, big game. I'll tell you right now. These are the two teams that have. Obviously Kansas City, but I think Baltimore's coming on. But these are the only two teams that are gonna possibly keep New England out of the Super Bowl this year. Everyone else could just fold it up. It's just. New England's got too much talent. The Chiefs could outscore them. Baltimore, historically has played New England well. They beat them a couple times in the playoffs. But this was a high scoring game last year when they played. Mahomes had a crazy fourth down conversion. Chiefs win in overtime. Big fantasy game, big game in the AFC. I'm gonna take Kansas City, but I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore pulls this one out. Again, because Baltimore's got some better weapons on offense this year than they did last year, and they were able to hang with them. But I'll take Chiefs, and this will be the game of the day, no doubt. Oakland, Minnesota, two teams that thought the Raiders would be a little bit better this year, and I know that the AB thing kind of screwed them up, but I thought they responded well. But then I thought they were going to hang with the Chiefs last week, but they just couldn't get going on offense. Had a couple turnovers, and the Vikings just don't look good this year. I don't know. Other than Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's been killing it, but Stephon Diggs is starting to worry me in fantasy. I got him and Mike Evans in one league together, and the two of them need to stop the nonsense and start putting up points, but. I'll take Minnesota in this game because they're at home. But it wouldn't shock me if the Raiders come out with a win. But these are two teams that are not going to do anything this year. I know they're both 1-1 right now, but they're not going anywhere. The Jets in New England. The Jets might as well bring out Ken O'Brien at this point. It's just the Jets. It's just never gonna happen. It's the same thing every year with the Jets. I know people were excited about them. They got Le'Veon Bell. Donald's coming on, and then Donald gets mono. He's out. So he'll be back a couple weeks, but I don't know. The Jets are in for another lost year. New England's already locked up. I think New England's already clinched the division. New England, of course, going to win this game. It's just, the AFC East is just ridiculous. Listen, New England's a great team, but, look at the last 20 years. New England in that division with Buffalo, the Jets, and Miami, those three teams have done nothing. They have done nothing in the last 20 years. The Jets, kind of made it interesting. They got the AFC Championship game back-to-back years. They beat New England one year in the playoffs. I don't even still remember how that happened, but other than outside of that, these teams have done nothing to give New England any type of competition. New England's 11-5, 12-4, 13-3 every year because they're picking up, 5-6 easy wins every year. It's just ridiculous, and they're getting another one on Sunday because the Jets not going to put up a game. All right, last game early Sunday, you get Detroit at Philly. Again, we got a game here where maybe Detroit can pull an upset here. Again, Philly's got some guys banged up. Detroit is they have enough weapons on offense where if it gets a high scoring game, they could hang. But again, I'd love to see Detroit get the win here, but I think Philly's is gonna beat them at home. Detroit's just they're too sloppy a team. The running game hasn't taken off yet. I mean, Galladay killed it last week. Helped me win one of my fantasy leagues. But I take Philly in this one. But obviously, I'm gonna root for Detroit. But whatever. So let's go to the Sunday late afternoon games. Carolina at Arizona. Cam Newton may or may not play in this game. I don't like what I'm seeing. Carolina, sloppy loss against Tampa Bay, coming off losing at home to the Rams. So what are they? 0-2 now at home, and now they go on the road to Arizona. On paper, you would say a better team, but I don't like what Carolina's doing. Arizona, they got the tie the first week. They rallied for the tie. They were feisty in Baltimore last week. They stayed competitive. Thought that game was going to be a blowout. I'm going to take Arizona to win this game. Kyler Murray gets his first win in the NFL. So that'll be exciting for those people out there that root for the Cardinals. Then you get the Giants at Tampa Bay. The Daniel Jones era begins, I guess. So, where I guess we're supposed to just notate that. The Giants are a mess. They're going to be a mess for a couple of years, and if Jones doesn't pan out, they're going to be a mess for a while longer. They're gonna waste Saquon's prime. And not that Tampa is anything right now. I mean, they were sloppy at home week one. They eked out a win against a sloppier Carolina team. They should take care of business here at home against the Giants. But James Winston, listen, just get Mike Evans the ball and stop giving everyone a headache that took Mike Evans in the first round. He wears number 13. Just throw him the ball, okay? I know Chris Godwin's good. You can throw him the ball too. But, it's not like you have a stellar running game. I mean, it's just, get Mike Evans the ball. All right, enough's enough. Houston at LA Chargers. Still in Sunday late afternoon. Texans, they were supposed to take a step forward this year, and I don't know if it's going to happen. They had a tough loss in New Orleans on Monday night, week one. And then they struggle against a Jacksonville team that's just a complete mess. And almost lost the game. I mean, Jacksonville went for 2 at the end. So the Texans are dangerously close to 0-2. The Chargers, tough loss in Detroit, overtime win against the Colts week one. Again, they got more. I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one because I just think the offense, they've got more weapons. The Texans, the running game isn't great right now. The offensive line, more importantly, is not giving Deshaun the extra protection he needs. He's still running around like a maniac back there. They got to clean that up, Houston. And I don't know if they're gonna. I'm gonna take the Chargers. Pittsburgh at San Francisco. I can't remember a year where so many teams just look like a mess after 2 weeks, and never the Steelers. Jesus, I mean, I know it's tough with Ben going out, but they weren't looking hot when he was in there, and now we'll see if this Mason Rudolph kid can do something here, but I don't know. The Steelers might be in trouble. I don't know. I mean, maybe we look back at this in 10 weeks and say how ridiculous it was. Maybe Mason Rudolph, maybe he's what the team needs. I don't know. But their offense is in trouble. Connor's banged up. Juju is struggling as the one. Not having Antonio Brown on the other side. Pittsburgh might be in full. I mean, it wasn't the last time Pittsburgh had a losing record. I mean, I can't even. I feel like in the early 2000s maybe they had like 02 maybe or 03. They were 6-10. I don't know that they've ever been bad. I mean, they weren't great in the 80s, but I can't remember in my lifetime like the Steelers just being a non-factor. And they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna be a factor in the AFC. I mean, forget about Ben being hurt, but they're not going to finish last because of the Bengals, but Pittsburgh might be looking at a distant third in the AFC North. Maybe not distant, because who knows, the Browns are slapped together. But anyway, 49ers, I don't think that's who they're playing here in San Francisco. I mean, listen, 49ers get two nice road wins. A lot of weapons on offense. It's clicking. Again, they didn't beat great teams, but you take two wins on the road, they come home. And listen, if Garoppolo's on, 49ers are going to score points. Listen, they had three running backs go double digits in fantasy last week. So, they've got some weapons there, 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers to win this game and put the Steelers in a real hole. Last game, Sunday late afternoon, you get New Orleans at Seattle. Again, now New Orleans, expectations for the season are tempered now. Now Breeze is only going to be out, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever it is. They have enough weapons on offense where they can hang in the game, and I think they'll hang in this game too. Because again, Saints get screwed on a call. It's just, I don't know what these refs are thinking. And again, I don't want to make excuses for teams when they lose, but like, if you're a referee and you see a quarterback get hit and it looks like it might be a fumble, just call it a fumble. Like, why? I don't understand how that's hard. Like, why? You know that you can't reverse. If you rule it, I mean, you can award them the ball, but the guy picks it up and you take a touchdown away, and it changes the whole game. I mean, again, a lot happens after that, but it's just like, I mean, it's just they're getting these simple things wrong in New Orleans games, and I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a coincidence at the end of the day. It's not a conspiracy. No one gives a shit. But it's just, when it rains it pours. You know what I'm saying? Like, now anyone's been talking about the Saints is just terrible refereeing. So like, it's just going to be a thing until they win a couple of games and there's no referee controversy, and then people forget about it. But it's still a thing, and it's on everybody's mind. Going up to Seattle again, I think they're going to hang with the Seahawks here. I'm not giving up on this team as far as being competitive. But I think the Seahawks will win. I mean, DK Metcalf is a beast. I own him in 3 of my 4 fantasy leagues. Couldn't be more excited. This kid's going to blow up. Him and Tyler Lockett are two great receivers. And again, I know they're primarily a running team, but when you got two weapons like that, and listen, Metcalf's a rookie, so he'll have some rookie mistakes here and there, but man, he looks like the real deal. I own him in one of my dynasty leagues, and he's not going anywhere. So, except my starting lineup. I'll take the Seahawks this week. This will be a good game. Saints will hang in this game. Sunday night in Cleveland, is that right? Yeah, look at that. Sunday night, the Browns hosting the Rams. Again, it should be a high-scoring game. A lot of fantasy players involved. But I'll tell you what, I still don't trust Cleveland. I'm going to take the Rams in this game. Because listen, Cleveland, they look real sloppy week 1. Their head's not in the game. If that makes sense. Like, their head was not in the game week 1. They're getting too fired up. I think they believe in their own hype. They got blown up by the Titans. And listen, they won easily against the Jets Monday night, but listen, the Jets were depleted, and I don't like Baker Mayfield like trying to throw the ball with 2 minutes left when you're up 20 points. And listen, the reason they were doing that, they were trying to stick it to Greg Williams. I mean, that's the only reason they were trying to do that. And it's just stupid. Like, and that's why I don't like where Cleveland's head's at right now. Because when you're worried about shit like that, like, you're not focused on the bigger task. Like who cares? Like, all right, who cares? Greg Williams. Like, so what? He was your D coordinator, whatever. And now you're trying to get revenge. Like, it's petty and stupid. And for a young impressionable team to buy in that kind of stupidity, that's a team that's not ready to win. And the lights are going to be on Sunday night, and you're getting a real team coming in there. You're not getting the Jets. So again, people look at this, go, this would be a high scoring, this would be a good game. I think the Rams will win this game, and Cleveland's going to look sloppy. I might be wrong, but whatever. I'm going to take the Rams. And then Monday night, the Bears at the Redskins. Oh my God, what the hell kind of game is this for Monday? That's how we're ending the week. Like you can't, like that's not even going to be a fantasy game really, unless somebody's got Tariq Cohen to probably try to clinch something. But yeah, I mean, listen, the Redskins haven't been bad on offense. You know, the Bears have struggled on offense, but the Bears have played great on defense. Redskins have not been good on defense. I'm gonna take the Bears here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins pull an upset here. But again, these are two teams that are not doing anything, so it's just like, you know, maybe you have Tariq Cohen, maybe you have Allen Robinson, maybe you have Adrian Peterson because you're desperate for an RB2. But other than that, I mean, who cares what happens in this game? Because I don't. But because the Redskins are out of it, and I think, like I said, we've been saying, Bears are gonna take a step back. But I think the Bears will squeak this one out. But I'm not confident about that pick. So, but anyway, there you go. There's your week 3. We'll be fired up against Miami. Watch the Cowboys play Miami on Sunday. But I'll be honest, it's going to be hard to really get jacked up because, like, I mean, come on, we're supposed to beat the Dolphins. So, but we'll get there and watch the game, and then we'll go from there. All right, week 3 NFL.